Hey, good morning, everybody. Markbuczynski here, and today is officially day one of my company, Operations Total Support Consultants, and I've actually had this business for several years now, but today is officially day one of an actual contract that I have received. It's in an industry that I wouldn't say I'm not completely aware of. It's a chemical industry that I'm going to go work with. Basically, what I'm doing is doing commissioning and construction of processes, and that's basically what we do. We go into these companies that are looking for part-time help, contract work. They don't need a full-time employee, except this company needs a full-time manager to come in and take care of their process. But that is not what I want to do anymore. It's not I've done the corporate thing for 22 plus years since I left the military, and I find that being pigeonholed into a certain category is not for me. I thought that was for me. From the very beginning of the start of my career, I thought that is something that I was looking forward to, is progressing myself to a point where I am management status or even higher than that. What I like doing is going in, figuring out what the problem is, identifying those problems and correcting those problems, and then eventually handing the end result back over to the company that has hired me. Now, being pigeonholed, it's not really the correct word for it. It's being tied to a corporation. You are bound by the rules in which they set. So what do I mean by that? Excuse me. So what do I mean by that? It's as a manager, as a director, associate director, whatever you want to call yourself, everything that you do within the company has to have a justification. I get that. I understand it. Okay. So managers these days, they spend hours upon hours, days upon days, weeks, sometimes months, identifying projects that will affect the bottom line, essentially. How can we get more productivity? How can we increase cash flow? What do those things look like? How are we going to do that? So you spend all this time identifying projects within the process in which you're working in and trying to reduce costs. I get that, but nowadays the way companies operate is that you've got to, when you identify those projects, they've got to have a 1 to 2 year payback period. And if it doesn't meet that minimum criteria, even if it does meet that minimum criteria, it's not always assured that they're going to work on that particular project. So you spend all this time going through, setting up these meetings and getting people to come in and do quotes and looking for ways to make changes, all to find out that the last few weeks, months, have just been a big waste of time because the people at the top, they don't think it's good enough, or they want to allocate their dollars to some other project that they find more worthy. So then you start the process all over again. You do this year upon year upon year, and it's not good enough to just find one project. They want a bunch of them to choose from, and it's just so frustrating to be told no, 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 no. Then what are we spinning our wheels for if you're not going to do it? And where I came from before, I had a very decent manager, and because of the condition of the process that I was working in, he didn't balk at everything. For the majority, if I needed something done, we got it done. We just spent the money because the plant was over 50 years old. And they want to run for another 50 years, which not gonna happen, but that's neither here nor there. So, but the thing is, as a contractor, the company's already decided that they're going to work on a particular project. So they've identified the project. Now they just need somebody there to execute it. And because managers within the company are so stretched thin, they just don't have time to manage those projects. That's where I come in. And that's where people like me come in. They come in for a short period of time, construction, commissioning, set up the programs necessary for that new process, make sure they identify all the different problems, and go from there. Once it's done, the project's done, you move on, they're happy with their product, you're happy with the pay that they've, or the compensation that they've given you for that particular project, provided you do it successfully. And I'm telling you, I've seen projects where you come in and you're there to correct somebody else's mistakes. Isn't the right word. I wouldn't say that they're mistakes, because sometimes people do things that they're ignorant of. This all goes back to a video I posted several months ago, and the reason why I'm in this position now is the difference between ignorance and incompetence is a very wide margin, okay? So if you're incompetent, it means you have the skills, you just don't know, you just either blatantly ignored what you were supposed to do, or you were just lazy about it. That's being incompetent. If you're ignorant is that you just don't know what you don't know. That's basically what the definition of ignorance is. Okay? I mean, at some point, we were all ignorant of the fact that fire is hot. Okay? Until somebody told you that it was hot, or you stuck your hand in the fire, put your hand on the stove. Okay? It's not common sense. Common sense, well, in my opinion, common sense doesn't exist. Common sense is just a word for learned behavior. Okay? Once you've learned something, you're no longer ignorant of it. If you have learned something and you are able to apply it, but you do not apply that learned behavior, now you are incompetent. So that's why I don't believe that there is a thing called common sense. It's all learned behavior. I like to think that the majority of the people out there are ignorant of what they don't know. So, getting off onto a tangent there. So today is day number 1. This company sounds, it's not a huge company, but it's something I'm very interested in, because it actually allows me to spread my wings a little bit more, get myself away from the mining and the air separation or industrial gases. So I get to trickle my experiences into other avenues, and that's what I like. Pumps, piping, compressors, valves, things of that nature. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, but they're all the same. It's just the process or the fluid that's going through those pieces of equipment, and how to get them all to interact with each other. That's the big difference, and that is what I enjoy doing. So again, day number 1, I will keep you guys abreast of what's going on, and we'll see how the rest of this week pans out. So it's a discovery right now until we actually get the project off the ground. Take care of yourself, and we will talk at you guys later. Have a great day.